This episode is brought to you by Amazon. The holidays are here, and you know what that means? It's time to get your friends and family the gifts they deserve. Take the stress out of shopping with Amazon's great deals and low prices on a huge range of items from toys to tech and much more. Whoever you're gifting for, Amazon has great prices on everything you need this holiday season. Shop Black Friday week starting November 21st.
When you think about super successful businesses that are selling through the roof like Heinz or Mattel, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But there's a secret. The business behind the business making selling simple for them and buying simple for their customers. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout as Heinz and Mattel. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/promo, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/promo to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/promo.
Hi Clubbers, a couple of things before we jump into this episode. Friday's show has now moved over to our subscription on Apple Podcasts.
So please subscribe to the channel for your exclusive weekly wellness roundup show and to listen ad-free on every episode of Self-Care Club and 40ish.
Just hit subscribe and you will get exclusive access to all of this content. Hello everybody, I'm Nicole Goodman.
And I'm Laura Mishkon, and welcome to Self-Care Club, where this week, ironically for a podcast, we are encouraging you and ourselves, of course, to shut up.
You said that so sweetly, because you could have said it a lot more aggressively. We are encouraging you guys and ourselves to just shut up. Could have said it like that.
I could, but I don't mean it like that, because we're exploring the power of speaking less.
Which is going to be tricky.
Very.
On an audio platform.
Extremely. Are you someone who feels like they have to participate in every conversation or have an opinion on everything? Yes, that's me.
Are you?
Yeah.
You don't have an opinion on everything.
Do you have to make sure you have the last word? Yes.
No, you do not.
I certainly do.
No, you don't.
Well, my husband says I always have to have the last word.
You probably do with him, but I don't find you like that at all.
Okay, that's good. Would you describe yourself or would others describe you as a talkaholic? Yes, I identify with all of the above. Do you?
No.
No.
I do feel like I don't have to participate in every conversation, but I do like to.
Yeah.
I don't have an opinion on everything. A lot of things. I don't have an opinion.
Okay.
I feel like I'm not winning you over with that. And do I have to make sure I have the last word? No.
You're not a talkaholic.
Well, you're with me all the time. What do you think?
No, I think I am the talkaholic.
Do you think I'm a talkaholic?
No. I think you're a chatty person. But I don't
so are
think
you.
you're
I don't think you're a talkaholic.
In a world filled with chatter and noise and constant communication, we are taught that speaking up is power and it's essential.
Well, it is.
It is.
It is.
But what if we also told you that there is immense power in speaking less?
Yes, there is.
So we're going to talk about the benefits and the downsides of shutting up more. And as I love with Self-Care Club, we're going to give you a simple step-by-step guide to helping you get started.
So when you shut up, a whole different world opens up to you. It's very hard to do this if this is an ingrained habit, but a load of good things will start happening just by saying less. Starting with the fact that it will help you grow as a person. Did you know that?
I'm learning.
When you're the one talking, you're not actually learning anything.
It's true.
When you're the one talking, you're not actually learning anything. But when you are listening or reading, there is input coming in. That is when you learn and grow. And if your whole life is just about the output, then you are not getting any of the input that you may need. Interesting.
Yeah.
Just by listening, just by saying less.
And you know, there's also some evidence to suggest that silence might actually help us grow new brain cells. Talkaholism Talkaholism.
That's a great word.
I know.
Great word.
Could also be related to an imbalance in our brain's hemispheric activity. If the right side is more activated than the left, we're likely to be more talkative. I would say.
Do you know
definitely.
people who are talkaholics?
Yeah.
And how do you relate to them being someone who's very chatty?
I actually quite enjoy it.
Because?
I just love a chat.
No, but if there's someone that doesn't stop talking.
It sometimes that depends on the context of the conversation, because and I do know a few people who, when they start, it's like a runaway train.
Yeah.
And they don't pause.
Yeah.
Or shut up ever.
Yeah.
And then you can't have a conversation because
Well, that's not a conversation.
They're on a monologue.
Yeah.
That can be a bit annoying unless you're really, really enjoying whatever it is they are giving the monologue on. And then you can just go
I think
with
if
it.
it's a constant monologue, it would become quite draining, wouldn't it? Because it's not a conversation. You're not sharing ideas and opinions, and you're not sharing anything because they're just talking at you. I have I'm allergic to that.
Are you?
Allergic.
How many people do you know like that?
Not loads, but I was actually talking to someone the other day who I don't know well, and they basically, I would be having a conversation. Well, I wasn't having a conversation with them. They would ask a question.
Yeah.
And then I would go to answer and I would start answering and they would just talk over me. They would just keep talking. They would kind of not answer the question for me, but they would just keep talking. So then I would stop mid-sentence and then they would ask me another question and then I would go to answer and they would just keep talking over me. And in the end, I just gave up, but they didn't notice. And I found that utterly irritating.
I have experienced that. And I slightly worry that I do it.
You don't do that.
You sure?
I promise you don't do that.
Now I feel a bit paranoid that maybe I do.
I promise you I wasn't talking about you.
No, I know you weren't.
I couldn't spend as much time with you if you did that because I'm allergic to it.
I mean, I really do identify as a person who speaks probably too much. I've told you this before. My dad's nickname for me as a kid was Motormouth. That's what he called me. And he would always say, she never shuts up. She never shuts up.
You are very chatty, but I love that about you.
I know,
but I'm very chatty too.
You are.
That's why we have two podcasts together, right?
And ironically, I've now made a living out of not shutting up and being a motor mouth and being chatty and talkative.
There you go.
I know. So it's kind of served me, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You put your talent to good use. When I'm editing us, I'm often hearing me interrupting you and I can't stand it. I'm allergic to that as well. So I'm also paranoid that I do that.
No, I don't feel like you. I don't ever feel like you interrupt me, but I do feel there's something. You know, like people who are quite quiet and are really amazing listeners, and when you are with them or in conversation with them, they may not say that much, but what they do say is interesting and to the point. I always feel like those people are taken a bit more seriously, and they have a bit more gravitas, and I always feel as if I'm not, because I'm a chatty McChatpants. But I
don't think you're taken seriously in the world because you're chatty.
Yeah, but I can't help it. I'm just really chatty.
Is that a serious thing? You don't think you're taken seriously because you're too chatty?
Yeah, and I think people who speak less are often taken more seriously.
Wow. Listen, I find people who speak less, I mean, because I had a background in hairdressing and I did it for so many years, so I was always talking to people for so long, so many hours in a day. I'm always very good at drawing conversation out of somebody. So if somebody doesn't say much, I feel like I have to work harder.
Okay.
I guess.
This is a slightly separate thing. I think it might come up later in the show, but I really want to come back to that point because I think it's really important.
Okay, so we'll put a pin in that for now.
Yes.
Should we talk about the benefits of speaking less?
Yes.
Come on then, give us them.
Improved listening.
Yep.
When you speak less, you create a space to truly listen, particularly with people with whom we disagree.
Oh, yes. That is so hard to do.
Yes.
But so important.
And you begin to absorb not just the words they're saying, but also the emotions and the nuances and the intentions. And then you can imagine a conversation where you walk away with a deeper understanding because you allowed yourself to fully listen.
Yes. Now that there's a big difference between being in a conversation and fully listening to somebody.
And we did do active listening for a show because it's a very important skill to have. You might like people more.
What, when you listen?
Yeah, it's like a magical experience. People come alive and they become more interesting. And when you give them space to talk, you might realise that actually they're quite dazzling and you might have a closer bond with them.
As Brene Brown says, people are hard to hate. Close up, move in.
Oh, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah. Because you get an understanding about who somebody is and how they function in the world and why they do the things that they do.
And their motivations and their intentions.
Yeah.
You might have more thoughtful responses if you pause and you hold back that urge to immediately respond. Then your thoughts have time to mature. And this leads to a more measured and meaningful contribution when you do speak. You're not just reacting, but you are responding with intention.
Love it.
That's nice, isn't it?
But you're also responding to what's in the space. Because a lot of the time people listen to respond, not listen to understand.
Or you hear someone talking and you're only thinking about the next thing you're going to say. You're not actually thinking about what they are saying and what that means.
That's what I mean. You're listening to respond. You're not listening to understand.
Totally.
Such a massive difference.
It is. You can build presence and respect. Have you ever noticed that in meetings and relationships and even casual conversations, those who speak less often seem to carry more weight when they do? This is what I was saying before. Speaking sparingly creates an aura of thoughtfulness. And when you do share, people tend to listen more intently. It shows you value your own words and theirs. It's a bit like people who lose their temper a lot. It loses so much power and weight. But if you've got someone who is so mild-mannered and then once in a while they lose their temper, it's taken much more seriously because you know it's serious, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of hot air.
I remember you saying that once when we did and I'm going back a long time, and I've really thought about this since when we did the week of compliments. Like if you're someone that always gives out compliments willy-nilly, then they're not going to be taken very seriously, are they? But if you're someone that doesn't often give compliments like yourself, and then you actually give one freely, it's like, oh, blimey, she really means it.
I do know this woman, and every time I see her, and I don't know whether she actually wakes up in the morning and intends it, but every time I see her, she will throw out a compliment. Oh my God, I love your leggings. Oh my gosh, your nails look so nice. Oh my gosh, your makeup's so nice. And I always think, you obviously, this person,
It must be her way of connecting.
and she obviously goes out into the world. She is such a positive, upbeat person. And she obviously goes out into the world with this like loving intention to be happy and make others happy. But because she always does it, I can never receive the compliment because it's endless.
Yeah.
And it's not just me, that's just kind of how she moves through the world, which is how lovely is that to be that person. But I can't really take it seriously.
Exactly, because it's too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
I saw someone in the car park this morning at 7:00 in the gym car park. It was pouring with rain. My hood was up and I had a quick chat with her. And she says, "You look nice." Now, I did not look nice. I just didn't. I'd just gotten out of bed. It was pouring with rain. Like neither one of us looked nice. And I said to her, "I'm really sorry. I do not look nice." I really did throw it back at her and I shouldn't have. But
you shouldn't have.
But I felt like it was just said because it was something to say.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Like if someone says you look nice and you feel nice, okay.
That's better.
Yeah, I'll accept it.
Yeah.
Not right now. Yeah.
It lowers stress and you can also avoid regret. Have you ever said something in the heat of the moment and immediately regretted it? Oh, thousands of times.
Oh my God.
Thousands of times.
I had it the other day with you. I had it
with
the
me?
other day with you. Yeah. Yeah.
Want to tell me what you said?
I told you. I told you something that I wish I hadn't told you. Not because
okay.
Not because it was you, but it was just I just wish it hadn't have come out of my mouth. And I have really regretted it since.
I'm not going to say anything.
I know, but it's not the point. I shouldn't have said it.
You felt like, to be fair, it wasn't you saying something to me that was horrible that you regretted saying to me. It was something you sharing with me that you didn't want to share with anybody, but then you shared it and then you regretted the sharing because you couldn't keep it to yourself.
Well, I wanted to run it by somebody.
Yeah.
But I regretted it after.
I understand that. But often our consciences, you and I, run as one person.
I know, but we
I feel like if I'm sharing with you, I'm sharing with myself. It's fine.
Well, that's what me and my best friend always used to say.
It's fine.
But yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying, sometimes your mouth does run away.
Yeah, I live in that.
Well, so do I, because I talk a lot and you talk a lot.
Yeah. By speaking less, you can reduce impulsive remarks and you can minimize the chances of saying something you didn't mean. And this means less stress over words that you can't take back. That is the thing. Once you've said the words, they are forever and ever and ever out there. And I am still at 46 working on, don't always say the words. Think the words.
But don't always say the words.
Sometimes I can manage
I do think that sometimes, like with Adam.
No, I was mainly talking about Willie.
I know you were. I know you were, but for people at home, they probably didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, like if he's annoying me,
Yeah.
it just falls out of my mouth because we're so comfortable with each other. But sometimes it's too comfortable, and I don't have to say everything. I just don't.
But also imagine half the things you said to him if you said that to a friend. They would probably never speak to you again.
But it does. But exactly. So it doesn't make it okay to say to your
No,
partner. You should
that's
say,
what I mean.
He's the last person I should say to because he's the most important person.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's extraordinary the things we say to our partners and just don't really think much of it.
But he doesn't say those things to me.
No, neither does Ollie.
He's much nicer to me than I am to him.
That's wives for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about the downsides.
There are downsides.
Well, there's no method without its downsides.
No.
Okay. And speaking less isn't always the right move.
Not always. Sometimes, though.
So, number one, misinterpretation. Sometimes silence can be mistaken for disinterest or lack of opinion. But that is only someone's perception, which you can't be in charge of.
No.
Or really worry about. People might assume you're disengaged or withholding information, which can create friction. I was doing it before with James, before we recorded.
Yes.
I was being quiet.
Yes.
And he was like, oh, what's wrong with you? You're in a bad mood.
Yes.
I was like, no, I was actually just being quiet. But because I talk a lot, if I show up as quiet, people assume there's something wrong.
Same.
Basically.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will actually be asked at home, what's wrong? You're very quiet.
Yeah. I also live in a very noisy house.
Yeah, you do.
Everybody, not Adam, me and my girls, we're all noisy.
You're all loud.
We're all loud.
The dog's loud. You're all loud.
I'm loud, Daisy's loud, Lily Rose is loud, and the dog is loud.
So I always find it ironic when people are like, oh my God, 3 boys. Oh, your house must be so noisy. My house is quiet as a pin. They are quiet. The dog is quiet. Everyone's quiet. And I really find noise hard.
I mean, I find it hard, but I live in it.
I know. I find it very not peaceful. The older I get, the more I'm into like peace and
well,
quiet.
you are. Yeah, that's kind of comes with the territory.
Shit.
Also, another downside, you can have missed opportunities. If you're too quiet, you might miss out on an opportunity to share your ideas, speak your truth, or advocate for yourself. There's a fine balance between silence and being invisible.
True.
I think this takes it to the other end of the extreme, though. We're talking about just being in a space and you don't always have to fill it yourself. Allow space for everybody, and you don't, because if you do that, you will also learn and grow as a person.
Yeah.
This is not about never sharing your ideas and being invisible at all. No one wants that. And you can internalize emotions. So not expressing yourself when it's important can lead to bottling up emotions, which isn't really healthy in the long run. Silence should be mindful, not a way to avoid difficult conversations. I mean, I can do this.
I also do that.
Which is interesting because we're both very chatty, but yet
I
we
am a
can
bottler.
avoid.
And I will bottle to avoid a difficult conversation.
Me too.
It's funny that, isn't
and
it?
I really don't like that about myself.
Me neither, but I'm so entrenched in it. I kind of can't help it.
You can help it. You can help
but
it.
I find it harder. I find
it impossible. Like if someone's upset me, I would rather swallow it, suck it up, and move through it myself than have the awkward conversation, because I always assume it's going to go pear-shaped.
Me too. I want to go back to what you said before.
I can't even remember what I said now.
It was about filling the silence. And you and I have this conversation often sometimes because I have found since I was a child that if I was in a situation, a dinner table at someone's house or wherever, and it was very quiet, I would feel, and I still feel, the need to entertain and to fill that space.
Michael Barrymore, the situation is your phrase.
That's the one. So I used to have a friend when I was much younger, and her dad was so quiet. He was always like mute at dinner, and the mother was sort of nervously chatty. And I found it so awkward that I would always just talk from the beginning of dinner through to the end to fill it. And I had another friend, and she used to do the same. And we used to say
At that same household.
At that same household.
Right.
And we used to say to each other, when we go to that house, because this was the 80s, 90s, we felt like Michael Barrymore. We felt like we were the entertainer. And
I've often said to you, I think you should come up with a more modern day entertainer. And you said there isn't one.
There's Michael McIntyre. In fact, I sent you a list of modern day entertainers, didn't I?
They weren't that modern.
Michael
I think
McIntyre's
Bruce
fine.
Forsyth was on there.
He's dead.
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly my point.
Okay, if we want to like bring it up to date, we could say
Michael McIntyre is a
the
comedian.
situation.
No, I'm sorry, he's a comedian.
Well, he does present the wheel. So I'd say he's also a light entertainer. Right, so who is a light entertainer?
But they don't really have game shows now.
Yes,
you
they
don't really
do.
have a game show host. Who?
Fucking thousands. Catchphrase.
Oh, right. Yeah. That you're right.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? That's hosted by Clarkson. He's not an entertainer.
When was the last time Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was on TV?
Last night. I watched it with Josh, and he got to 500 grand.
Of course he did.
He was a quizzer, which I think's cheating. But anyway,
What do you mean?
he was like a professional quizzer.
Who was?
The contestant. Anyway.
What ifs? You wouldn't call Jeremy Clarkson.
No, I wouldn't. But I think
Can't
Michael
believe he's-
McIntyre isn't. Anyway, the point is.
I don't think Michael McIntyre. I like Michael McIntyre.
No, I do too. The point is.
I reckon
There's
he'd be
been no-
very, very, very good at a dinner party.
So we're back to the beginning where basically there has been no one since Barrymore. So we're sticking with Barrymore.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Okay, well, you can pick someone to illustrate the point. Go on. Good luck.
I'm saying less because that's what we're meant to be
Watch the
doing.
silence of the tumbleweeds. Ooh, as they roll across the studio as Nicole's brain whirs into gear, thinking of a modern day light entertainer. They don't exist. I sent you a list of them, but I'm not going back through our WhatsApps because it will take me the rest of this episode to do so. Oh,
I have found the list.
okay. What does it say?
I was right. This was Lauren's list of modern day entertainers, okay, to take the place of Michael Barrymore.
Start with the context.
That is the context.
What does it say at the beginning?
It says?
Something about Barrymore.
It says there are other all-round entertainers that didn't have a dead body in their pool.
Yeah.
That's from me. I say that. You say, if it makes you feel better, I'm going to have to pull the full Barrymore tomorrow night from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. in a cocktail dress at a table. I don't know where you were going. You then give me a list. Here's the list. Is everyone ready? These are the modern day entertainers.
I didn't say modern day, I just said all round entertainers.
I said there are other all-round entertainers that didn't have a dead body in their pool. Yes, you're quite right.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay, these are Lauren's idea. Bobby Davro,
Oh, Bobby Davro, yeah.
Bruce Forsyth.
Yeah.
Told you he was on the list. Les Dawson
Oh, love Les Dawson.
and Les Dennis.
Les Dennis. So which of those would you like to pick? Which of those would you like to pick to replace Barrymore?
Because I was someone more updated than Michael Barrymore.
It's fucking Michael McIntyre. There we go. That is the answer. There's no one else. You know what? The point is not the pseudonym. The point is feeling the need to be an all-round entertainer when a situation is quiet. It is a
And
disease.
why do we take on the responsibility of having to fill that gap? Why do we do
why?
that? Because we're good at it.
Is it that, or is it because we don't like awkward silences? I actually don't mind silence. I'm actually down with silence. Actually love silence sometimes. So why?
Do you think we will ever have silence?
You and I? No. We'll be unemployed. That's not our dynamic.
I think we should try silence. I do.
Why?
And actually, I saw this thing flash up on Facebook the other day, and it was a
Silent retreat.
Fuck that, a day silent retreat. And I
No,
thought,
it's just a day.
should I just sign us up?
Oh, I'll do it for a day. I don't want to do a week. That seemed like some sort of torture.
No, I couldn't do that.
And also,
And no, I can't. I won't be able to look at you.
and that's what what's going to happen is we'll have one meal, we'll catch each other's eyes, and we'll start giggling, and that'll be it. I'll be crying. It's going to
We'll have a whole conversation with our eyes.
I won't be able to even see you.
No,
It will be
we'd
too
have to
much.
go onto the other side of the room.
It would just be too much for me to be forced into the silence. Okay, well, I'm glad I'm not the only Barrymore. You're also a Barrymore.
I am.
Do you have any insight into why?
Well, for many, many years, it was my job.
Okay.
It was my job to make people feel comfortable in my chair, right? They would come in, and a lot of people sometimes get nervous walking into a hairdresser. So it was my job to make sure they were okay, right?
Yeah.
So that's why.
Okay. So
And
it's
also,
just
maybe
learned
I'm just
behaviour.
uncomfortable with silence, but I don't know why I would be uncomfortable with silence.
I'm actually not uncomfortable with silence, but I do have this
but I
desire to entertain.
But all this weekend, I've been away with my husband.
Yeah.
Right. And on the train, I said to him, "You're going to talk to me on the train?" Because we've got the Eurostar. And he said, "Well, what do you mean I can talk to you?" I said, "Are you going to talk to me on the train?" And he said, I don't know. I haven't planned what I'm going to do on the train. And I said, "Well, I would like you to talk to me."
Yeah. Rather than like read an iPad or be on his phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Why don't you take your book?" And then I got upset
Oh.
because I thought he doesn't want to talk to me. And then he likes silence. He's very
Yeah.
comfortable in it. And I
Yeah.
would always say, "Talk to me. Talk to me." He's like, "I don't know what do you want me to say?" I needed entertaining like a child.
You are high maintenance.
I am.
Yeah. I'm really happy with the book on the Eurostar is like my idea of heaven.
What, even when you're going on a romantic weekend away, you don't want to talk to Wally?
I do want to talk to him, but I mean, I don't need to talk to him 24 hours a day. If he's sitting next to me on the train, I'm reading my book and he's reading the paper, like that's very nice. That's just comfortable companionship and silence. And I'm really content with that.
Well, on the way back,
We could hold hands at the same time.
I listened to you.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
I was editing you.
Oh dear.
I was editing us,
That's
and I was
not
giggling.
romantic.
I was giggling away, and Adam was like, "Are you actually laughing at yourself?" I said, "I am actually laughing at Lauren." If that makes it any better.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Anyway, let's go to a break and come back with a step-by-step guide to speaking less, which we both need.
Hey, podcast listeners. Tired of ads barging into your favorite news podcasts? Good news. With Amazon Music, you have access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts included with your Prime membership. Stay up to date on everything newsworthy by downloading the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/ad-free news. That's amazon.com/ad-free news to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Okay, the step-by-step guide to speaking less.
Yes.
So we've covered the pros and cons.
Yes.
There aren't many cons.
No.
I don't think.
No.
I think the cons are just an extreme version. So let's talk about how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
So here is a simple, easy to remember acronym to guide you. We love an acronym.
Love it.
It's called SILENT.
Yep.
Can't forget that, can you? You should have called it Barry.
I should have called it Barry.
Should have called it Barry.
I called it silent.
So let's break it down. Come on, Lauren. Silent. The S is for what?
Stop talking immediately.
Just stop.
Or shut up, whichever you want. When you feel that urge, just jump in, catch yourself, stop, pause. Even if it feels unnatural at first, just stop speaking. This allows you to reset.
What is the I?
Inhale. Take a deep breath, just one breath. It can calm your racing thoughts, slow down that impulsive speech, create space for a more thoughtful interaction.
Yeah.
One breath. That's all you need to do. Then speak.
L.
Listen actively. Pay attention to what the other person is saying, not just their words, but their body language, their tone, their context.
And the E for silent.
Evaluate
Oh, this is a good one.
before speaking.
Nice.
Is what you are about to say necessary?
Necessary.
I mean, in my case, so rarely necessary.
I think you're being really mean.
Will
to
it
yourself.
add value?
I think a lot of what you say adds value.
I think you just find me entertaining.
I do.
Yeah, but
Do I just really like you?
I don't
Is
know,
that
maybe.
what? Why do you think that you don't add value? I think you do.
I just don't think anyone needs to be chatting all the time.
I don't think you do chat all
Okay,
the time.
good.
I couldn't spend the amount of time I spend with you if you did chat all the time.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. N. Notice nonverbal cues.
Like if someone has put their hand to your mouth.
If someone has given you the middle finger. If someone is going with a line across their throat, like shut up, stop speaking.
If someone has left the room.
If someone is yawning loudly at you. If someone has started crying because you're just talking and you won't shut up.
Those sorts of things.
That sort of thing, yeah?
Yeah, focus on non-verbal cues, your own and others. Notice if the conversation really requires a verbal response or if it can get away with a nod or a smile
Or a shrug.
or a stroke.
Or a pat.
Not a stroke, that sounds weird.
A pat. Or a...
Oh
or
no,
a
but sometimes
thumbs
you
up.
could just a thumbs up.
Or a double thumbs up.
If I was talking and you gave me a thumbs up,
What would you do?
well, now I know why you would be doing it. But previous to this, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with her?
I'd
I'd actually be really offended.
Would you?
If you just gave me a if I was in the middle of a story
Yeah.
and you don't answer, you just give me a thumbs up with a smile. That's weird. Don't do that. That is not. Don't do
It
that.
is a bit weird, isn't it? A bit weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the T is for take your time. Don't rush to fill that silence. Take time to formulate a response. Sometimes when you allow a little silence, it can open up new avenues of thought. Okay.
Right. Should we apply this to real life now?
Yes, come on, let's do that.
So imagine you're in a meeting
Mm-hmm.
and a heated debate is unfolding between your boss and a colleague.
I'm already uncomfortable.
Instead of jumping in, remember silent.
Yes.
Silent. Let's just go through them quickly. Silent is stay.
Stop talking.
Stop talking. I is inhale, take a breath. L, listen actively. E, evaluate before speaking. N, notice nonverbal cues, do not give a thumbs up. And T, take your time. Okay?
Yeah.
So stop talking, take a breath, actively listen, evaluate whether your point will add value. That is such a good point. Just evaluate whether you need to speak or not.
Yeah.
If it will, share it calmly and concisely. If not, you might find that others address your concerns without you ever having to speak.
You just don't have to always get involved.
But I think maybe someone that always wants to get involved is because they feel they add more value by speaking than not. Maybe that's why.
Maybe. In personal relationships, the same rules apply. Sometimes the best way to support someone is by being there in silence and giving them the space to express themselves fully. Actively listen, watch their body language. What can you learn from them or about them when you are not busy filling every second with chatter? I really, really did give this a college try this week. And I have to tell you, I don't want to jump to conclusion before conclusion, but I really failed hard. I failed hard. Nicole's just given me the thumbs up. I think what would have been more accurate would have been a thumbs down. That was a very sarcastic thumbs up. So sarcastic. Oh. Okay, I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you what happened. There was a dinner. There were 8 people at the dinner. And I went with the intention of speaking less, not being a Barrymore, listening more, all of the good intentions. I went in, I said hello to everyone, sat down in my seat, and then I was quite quiet. 4 people asked me in the space of 10 minutes,
What's the matter?
are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, yes. And then they didn't believe me. I really was okay. I was just trying
Something different.
something new. It failed. I had a vodka and tonic. And then I just behave like my normal self and
Yeah,
have a
because
nice evening.
that's what they want you to do. They
Yeah.
want you to be yourself. They haven't invited you over for you to be silent.
But the man I was sitting next to, I hadn't seen him in a while, and I started chatting with him. And I realised as I listened more that I was learning a lot of stuff about him that I didn't know, because stuff had changed. He changed his job and all sorts of things. And because I was listening and asking some questions.
But you would anyway.
I would anyway, but I felt like I tried to do it with a bit more intention. And I did come away like, oh, gosh. And now I know all these things about what's going on with you.
I think you would have done that anyway. I really do.
Probably. Thumbs down.
I do.
Really try. Then I went for a walk
Yep.
with a friend.
Yep.
I thought, okay, I'm not going to chatter. I'm just going to ask a few deliberate questions and listen and watch your body language. I tried. I got about 8 minutes in. And she asked me something and then I just went off on one and, you know.
But you are allowed to be in the conversation. It's not about just never speaking.
I know, but I really, really, really struggle so much. Although, ironically, I'm actually quite quiet at home. I'm like one of those rescue dogs that's like mental when they're out, but then when they're at home, they just go to their dog bed and go to sleep. I'm a bit like that. I am quiet in the house, like a very, very good girl. You know? You don't believe me, but I am.
I'm just leaving space.
Okay. Sometimes when you leave the space, people fill it.
Yep. That's why. That's why. It's what you're meant to do so you can learn and grow and evolve, Lauren. Shall I tell you about mine?
Please.
I also failed.
Did you?
Yeah, because I was away with Adam and I don't want to be quiet. You know,
Even though he wanted you to be.
That's not how our dynamic works. I'm the chitter chatter and he's the quiet one. And that is what we like. He likes my chitter chatter.
He's not actually that quiet. I love when you say this. Like, you always describe him as like quite a quiet man, but he's not. He's actually very chatty.
He's not very chatty.
When he is in the mood to chat, I mean, mainly I see him in the working week and he is constantly chatting because he's on his work calls. He's very chatty. He's very chattable.
Well, he's working.
Yeah, but he's not like, he doesn't sit there in silence. You always hear him chatting. He does talk, he does talk.
Yeah, he
He's
does
not
talk.
like this
He's not
quiet, mute man.
No,
No.
he's not. But I think that's exactly why he married me, because I do all the socializing
Right.
and he sits back and he can relax.
I see.
And he likes that dynamic. I do all the hard work and I do all the Michael Barrymore,
Yeah.
Les Dennis.
Les Dawson. All the Leses.
What was that guy that used to host Noel Edmonds?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
You forgot about Noel
He
Edmonds.
was a great light entertainer. How did I miss him off the
You
list?
really did miss him off
well
the list.
done.
Yeah.
Great one. Yeah. Classic.
Oh.
So he's able to relax because you're the one bringing the party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how it's always worked.
Our dynamic is a bit different because Ollie has two modes, either reading the newspaper or chatting, one or t'other. And he can also be very much a chatterbox. And sometimes I realise that both of us chat so much, it doesn't leave much space for the children. I noticed it one night and I was like, you know what? We need to shut the fuck up more. both
Oh
of
my
us.
God. My children do not stop. No, Daisy, my eldest, does not stop talking. She does not stop talking.
She's like a tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when she comes home, it is just, and sometimes she always sits with me whilst I'm cooking dinner. It's so cute. And she tells me all about her day. And I get every single tiny little thing that has happened in her day. And then I suddenly realise it's been like 40 minutes and I haven't said a word. And then she's like, Mum, are you listening? Mum, can you listen? And I'm like, I'm done with listening. I can't listen anymore. It's just constant stream of chat, which is so cute. And then you say those things and then it's like you've wounded a puppy.
Yeah.
Then you feel bad.
Yeah.
And she's like, can I just finish? And then about 20 minutes later.
Can I just finish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's also just got so much to say. It's so-
She does have a lot to say.
yeah.
And she needs to get it out.
Yeah, she really does.
Yeah.
Anyway, my week. So that didn't go so well. But actually, I did have an interesting moment. In the gym,
Mm-hmm.
I went to say hello to somebody who I haven't seen for ages. And I went up to her and she was on the rowing machine. And I went, oh, you okay? Like, we have a bit of banter in the gym. She's a really fit girl. And I was like, oh, you training hard enough? Because she really does train hard enough. And she looked at me. She was rowing and she burst into tears.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I don't know.
Oh.
Well, I do know, but obviously I'm not going to,
Oh.
express that here.
Oh, gosh.
So she burst into tears. Now,
Yeah.
I only know her in the gym. We're not like
Oh.
good friends.
Mm.
So then, and there wasn't a lot I could say because she was rowing backwards and forwards
And crying simultaneously.
and crying.
Wow, that takes some energy. Row and cry.
So
row
I
and
couldn't
cry.
walk away.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Imagine if you just given her a smile and a thumbs up and then just walked off. That would have been amazing.
not for her. I mean, can you imagine?
Or you just done like a sad face. Crying. Were you crying? And then walked off. Yeah, that
didn't
would have
do
been
that.
mean.
Didn't do that.
You just stood there.
Well, I crouched down.
Yeah.
She stopped rowing
Mm.
and I didn't say anything. And I just let her
Mm.
speak.
Mm-hmm.
And she did.
Okay.
And she told me what was going
Yeah.
on. And I just said, I'm so sorry.
Mm.
And, what could I say?
Mm.
And she said, oh, I'm sorry. And then, and I said, no, don't be sorry. It's really good that you got it out. I really didn't say very much at all. And then I just sort of said, she said, oh, I'm going to go and have a run. I'm like, okay, well, sending love. And I walked away. And then I sent her a message. I didn't do the thumbs up, or and it would have been inappropriate.
It
Anyway, and then I sent her a text message on Instagram later just to check in
Yeah.
and see how she was doing. But I just found it really interesting that my first response was to say, oh, what's the matter? Are you okay? I'm sure. And when she told me what was going on, I didn't jump in with, oh, I'm sure it's going to be fine. And I'm sure this, because I just listened and it
Very
gave her
important.
space to listen,
Very
to
important.
speak.
Okay, well, you did good then, I'd say.
I did good,
Yeah.
didn't I?
Well done.
But that was the only time I did good.
It's not our strong part, shutting up.
I don't want to. Should we summarise?
Yeah.
The summary is,
Mm.
I don't want to shut up.
My summary is sometimes I would like to shut up a bit more, but I seem unable to.
Do you think we would know if we were people that spoke too much?
No.
Oh. Do I speak too much?
No.
Be honest.
No. I think I'm 100 times worse than you are.
You're just not.
Okay. No, I don't think you do. No.
I just don't think you do either.
I mean, I feel like you speak an adequate amount.
Yeah,
For
same.
me. For me.
Same.
But maybe that's more than the average person. But I don't know.
But on the walk down here to the studio,
Yeah.
I talked the whole time.
Yeah, but you had things to share.
I know, but what
And
I'm saying
we
is,
hadn't seen each other all weekend.
I know,
so
but you weren't interrupting me. You were just, it's not oohing and ahhing. You didn't give a thumbs up.
I didn't.
No, but you were listening.
Yeah.
Right. Were you doing that? You weren't doing that intentionally. You would have done that anyway.
I wasn't doing
Exactly.
it intentionally, no.
Exactly.
No.
But I do know people that don't stop talking, and I don't think they're aware that they don't stop talking. But how can you say to someone, actually, you don't stop talking?
Well, I mean, it's been said to me. People don't seem to.
Who? Who said it? Name him, shame him. Who said
My
it?
dad.
Oh, Russ. He could say it. He's your dad. Who else?
Also, can I just say, he fucking talks for a living too.
But he doesn't talk loads. I mean, he talks.
Oh, listen, if anyone's a Barrymore, he practically is. He practically is Noel Edmonds, Les Dennis, Les Dawson rolled into one.
Well, so's my dad.
He's an entertainer.
So's my dad, but he's not an entertainer.
My dad's done panto. He's literally an entertainer. So, yeah.
Well, maybe you should put him on the list.
He's not one to talk. He's not one to talk. I think this is just about maybe being more deliberate with your words, not about shutting up.
And also allowing space for people to share.
Yes.
I think that's really important.
Know when to speak up and know when to be silent and know when to listen and how to listen.
Yeah.
Because I can only take as I find, and what do I want in a good friend or family member? I want someone who is fun to chat with, but who is also capable of listening if I should need that. Isn't that a good balance? I'm getting a double thumbs up.
It's a good balance.
Good balance. Thank you very much for tuning into our show today. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who might need a reminder that sometimes silence is golden.
If you want to be in touch, hello@theselfcareclub.co.uk, or you can find us on all of our socials at Self-Care Club Pod. Make sure you're tuning into our brand new show, 40ish, that's 40ish. You can search for that wherever you get your podcast, because that is really good fun. And if you are in your 40s or coming up to your 40s or even past your 40s, I promise you, you are going to enjoy this show.
Yeah. We had a man of 31 this morning ask us if we thought he should tune in.
We said no.
I said no.
I said it's for middle-aged women, 2 things you are not.
No, he's not. He was not either of those things.
No.
But if you're not him, then tune in.
We'll be back next week. Bye.
Hi, I'm Grace, host of Red Rum True Crime Podcast. These cases focus on the true victims of crime. Why not jump in at episode 114, the tragic murder of Jasmine and Aaliyah? The main suspect in this case gave an extremely bizarre interview to a number of press reporters whilst he was drunk and reportedly high. He speaks about an awful lot on camera and has this completely inappropriate laughing and chuckling response when talking about the case. He may even have thought he was gonna get away with the double murder he'd been accused of, but what he didn't know was that 2 undercover officers were on their way to catch him out, and he easily and willingly took the bait. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Red Rum True Crime. That's Red Rum, murder backwards, REDRUM True Crime.